a chance to wake up all the other sites that I'm connected to. So hopefully by now, I'm streaming on the multiple different sites that I'm streaming on. And the beginning of the video won't be cut off. So, anyways, hey guys, it's Rob, and I'm coming to you live from the mean streets of Augusta. And I spent technically 3 days in New York. I went up to see my daughter and my ex, and I only saw my daughter for like a half an hour because the CPS person was only available to us for a half an hour, like a fucking bitch, you know. I voluntarily, allow that woman into our fucking lives because I didn't want people making accusations that I raped my daughter. Joseph Martelli started doing this a couple of weeks ago, but I knew a long time ago that people would accuse me of that. Very get go. So, um, yeah. So accusing me of raping my daughter isn't gonna work, Joseph. And you know, the reason why people people are like, oh, why do you care if he accuses you of raping your daughter if you know that you didn't do it? And whatnot. And there's people who can back you up, and CPS workers and shit like that. It's because Joseph, unfortunately, is a trendsetter. Anything he accuses me of, other people will accuse me of it too because they think that it is gonna trigger me and make me aggravated, right? So first Joseph Martelli will accuse me of something like that, and then then Brett Keane will, and then so on and so forth. So when Joseph does something like that, I know that it's just the beginning of like a domino rally effect where other people will probably do the same thing. But, trust me, it's something that I could disprove in seconds if I needed to. In seconds. So, Joseph Martelli, yeah, you ain't gonna get away with accusing me of shit like that. So, you know, it's very stupid of you to do. You know, but anyway, so I saw my daughter for like 30 minutes in the shadow of the Empire State Building. Around, went and walked out over to the Chrysler Building and like that. And I love like cross water because like, give me your hand. I hold her little hand and we cross the street and stuff like that. It's like one of those fatherly moments that like everyone, you have to be a dad to understand. You have to be a dad to understand like that those little moments of like holding your daughter right crossing the street are, because eventually she's gonna be like, no, fuck you, dad. Don't, no, I don't want you holding my hand. Yeah, you know, I don't want to hang out with my dad. I see the way that my sister act with my dad. They don't want to hang out with him. You know, well, my stepdad, who I call my dad, but but even my sister was very with my dad, Did Skulman, dad, but yeah. So, anyways, hung out with my daughter for like a half an hour with my ex and Sarah, the CPS worker, bitch, bull dyke, fucking hate. But whatever. Like people, like people who I talk on Flickr and on Discord and shit like that said that I shouldn't be so mean with her because you know, she's helping me in the long run. You know, like she's doing, she's serving her function, so I should be a little bit nicer to her, because if somebody ever, tried to bring formal charges up against me based on accusations, then, you know, she could wipe that away really, really fucking quick, you know? But, the only, so, I mean, the trip was it wasn't really that big of a deal, except for I visited where Jesse Powell Stroud lives. I dropped off a package at his house. I mean, and I kind of hung out in his neighborhood a little bit. And it's kind of a bad neighborhood, but not really. I mean, it's a little bit gentrified, a little bit, but I don't know. I thought about, knocking on the door, but the guy is like a legit psychopath, you know. Um, I I offered him an opportunity to meet with me, and he didn't show. I said, hey, come to the Total Request Live building, right? So pretty much, I've kind of figured this guy out, like, right? He won't do something if he doesn't have the upper hand, right? Like he confronted that ice cream truck guy, but it was because he had the upper hand. He ambushed the guy, right? The guy wasn't expecting it, you know. So the reason why he didn't show up to my meeting spot is because I because he couldn't get the drop on me. I knew. Well, sorry. I knew that when he showed up, there was a possibility that he was going to try to embarrass me and shit like that. That's why I picked a place that was so packed full of people that it was more people that he could he could deal with, so he wasn't going to, make a big scene with all those people around. Like, I thought about saying, oh, Union Square, because he likes that place, but then I was like, no, he would be too comfortable there. He'd be too comfortable there, and it's a bigger place, and it would be more easier for him to make a scene there. So I was like, okay, Times Square. There's so much people there that he would he would he would if he made a big enough scene, he would get in trouble. He would get in, as much trouble as anything else, So I was just like, all right, but he never showed because he didn't have the upper hand. So knowing him, what he's gonna do is he's going to just do what he always does. He he tries to figure out what triggers people and uses that to try to trigger them, right? So he believes that saying that I've never been to New York is what triggers me, right? But see, the thing is that it's so demonstrably wrong, and it's so fundamentally provable in the opposite direction that anybody who takes a second to investigate it figures out that he's full of shit. So the only people who actually would believe that would be like sycophants. And fuck them. I don't give a shit of what somebody who will just blatantly believe anything, who will just like religiously believe anything he says without questioning it. I don't give a fuck what those people think. I've had people contact me saying, "Why does he say that you've never been to New York? It's clear you've been to New York. You have hundreds of thousands of photos and videos of you in New York that are clearly real." And then I just respond to him is he thinks that's gonna upset me, and it's not. So, and my interactions online lately have been slim to nothing, just me arguing with Joseph Martelli. So I don't know what else he could possibly think of that he thinks is going to trigger me. You know, the only thing that I've really been talking about with Joseph Martelli lately is Joseph Martelli's attempted triggering of me. You know, the stuff that Joseph Martelli's been saying. I think that maybe Jess is gonna just start running with the stupid bullshit that Joseph Martelli's been saying, because I haven't been making content directed towards Pot Awful at all. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna have to go grab my other content, you know. And what is that? What is recent? Oh, fucking Joseph Martelli shit, you know. And me going to New York, he can't do that because that breaks his other narrative that I've never been to New York. So, you know, or he has to say, oh, it's fake, and then people who actually take the time to research will be like, what are you, a fucking retard? You know? So, I don't know. I watched as much as Friday Night Hangout Explosion as I could, because it was like 5-6 hours fucking long. There was like 2 hours, and then like he lost the live stream for some reason. So then they had to start another video, and then that, like, I fell asleep with that on, and I heard nothing about it, right? So usually what happened what happened in the past is he would tell people, like, in the Facebook group, to not mention me because, you know, there was going to be an episode about it, right? So the fact that I wasn't mentioned at all in Friday Night Hangout Explosion makes me believe, based on past patterns with him, that tonight, because it's well, all right, yeah, it's tomorrow, but by the time that people start watching this, it will be Sunday. It's like 11:53 right now. I have a feeling that tonight the episode is going to be about me. And because he has nothing to do, he has nothing, he's just going to make shit up. He'll probably say, oh, he's never been to New York. Oh, you know, he'll probably, you know, oh man, like I could picture him like throwing the same mud at me that fucking Joseph does. He'll probably say, oh, Robert raped his daughter or something like that, which is because that's what Joseph Martelli says all the time. That I molested my daughter when I didn't. It'd be extremely easy. It would take 2 seconds for me to prove that I didn't do that. 2 seconds. And I'm not gonna say how, but it would take two seconds for me to prove that. But only in a courtroom. I won't talk about how I can prove that unless I end up in a courtroom. So, you know, every minute that I'm with my daughter is filmed. If not by me, if by my ex. You know, my phone was dead during that time. I was waiting for them, and I was charging it at one of those free charging slash Wi-Fi things. And that's one thing. Those things, they can grab your email addresses, and you start getting spam and shit like that. You know, um, so it's not really free. They sell your data and give you spam and shit like that. So, but it doesn't matter. Um, but my phone My phone takes like 2 fucking hours to charge fully, cause it's a piece of shit. Um, so but my ex has like a $300 fucking camera because she films every single time that that we interact, that me and my daughter and her interact. And hell, I've actually hung out with just my ex a couple of times, and she's filmed it. You know, just for quality assurance. No, just a cover my ass type of thing, because she's damn well aware of people that people are gonna make accusations against me as well. You know, so you know she's got like a big camera, like it's like a Sony camera, like with it's like a video camera. It's a digital video camera. It has like, it looks like an old video camera that you would have like a like one of those tapes in, but it's digital. It has the fold out screen where you can turn it backwards and stuff like that. So really, it's an impressive rig. She's got the external mic, and she's got the dead cat, what they call a dead can. It's like a noise thing. She would be better at YouTube than I would be, but she doesn't do internet crap. This is purely just so that way, like, there isn't wind noise on the video, so that way, what is said can actually be heard and shit like that. And another reason that she records is for nostalgia purposes. I mean, I'm gonna be an old man one day, and it'll be nice to see videos of my daughter when she was little, when I'm an old man laying in a hospital bed dying, questioning everything I've ever believed in because I'm old and scared, shit like that. So, plus it'd be nice for my daughter to have videos of her dad, that she can watch, you know. So after I die an old man, or after, Joseph Martelli comes and shoots me in the head or something, she can watch videos of her dad while he was still alive. Plus all the videos of me on YouTube and shit like that. So she'll have plenty of me. She'll probably have actually a little too much of me. I'm totally aware that there's a possibility that one day my daughter might Google my name and see my dick. so, so that's a little scary. That's more than just a little scary. That's like a lot scary to think of, and I never really realized that until like a couple years too late, like because I was doing shit like that, like when she was like, you know, like when she was like 3 or 4, and then like 2 or 3 years ago, I was like, wait a minute, all these idiots made it so that way when you search my name, there's like nudity of me and shit now. So a couple of years from now, like when I'm old or dead, and my daughter searches my name, she's gonna see that shit. She's gonna see some of that shit. So we've already started planning in her the narrative of the truth of what's been going on a little bit. Like, say there's people who don't like dad, and do bad things and steal shit that is embarrassing, and and hack into stuff, and shit like that. So she understands that there's negative people who do negative things to me, subversive people, as my mom would say, to her and shit like that. SPs, I came up with a funny character that I wanted to start doing, but it was too similar to something that Jesse does. So I thought it'd be funny to do a character called Tony Full of Baloney. Tony Full of Baloney would be his name. Tony Full of Baloney. Italian Scientologist. Now, well, except for Scientology isn't baloney. Well, 90% of it isn't. There's a little bit. There's a like 10% of it is like the stuff L. Ron Hubbard put into it to get himself money. You know, but who wouldn't put a little bit of stuff in there to sustain the machinery. I mean, every religion does that. So there's a little bit in there about like there's no reason why anything in Scientology should cost anything to anyone. It should be completely free. But he comes up with he put reasons into it why it costs money when it shouldn't. I mean, the whole thing is tax. Everything is tax exempt. You know, so it makes no sense. It makes the organization makes more money than they need. But the materials are help people. So I don't know. It's just my personal belief that they should give away a lot more of it than they do. You know, and I mean, he was a flawed genius. Like he was still human. You know, I mean, he is still human. Well, kind of. I don't know. Well, he's on another planet now, so I don't know what he consists of now. I mean, he still had human errors in his mind that he was working on to get rid of. I mean, he honestly must have gotten rid of enough of them because he went external. You know, so in his last days, he must have fixed himself enough to go external, and now he's on another planet, and Scientologists are actually receiving radio waves from him from another planet. So a lot of people don't even know that there's Scientologists who are in the government who are receiving radio waves from him, and it's being repressed by the United States government that these signals even exist. But there's new books about it and everything, and only certain people of the highest rank know about that. But well, of course now all you know about that, but who's gonna believe me, right? Who's gonna believe me? So I mean, the only reason why I know about it is because my family comes from, you know, our genetic line is comes from an extraterrestrial origin. We're not exactly human beings in a way. So my family genetic line goes back to people who were from another planet, but still human. They're humans just from another planet. So it's a long thing, but so of course we know about it, because why wouldn't they tell us? But this is something that I've talked about for a long time. Anybody who's followed me for more than a couple of years will know that my family has an extraterrestrial origin, so whatever, so even if my family didn't connect to Scientology, I'm still, it doesn't matter. My family still has an extraterrestrial background. our genetic line goes back to aliens, you know. So it's not a big deal. I'm not gonna kidnap you from your house in the middle of the night and stick a probe up your butt or anything like that. Like, what would be the point of doing that? There is no like I don't understand why that meme even exists, you know? So, I don't know. Hopefully, this is actually being broadcast. Otherwise, I've been out here, talking to myself for over 25 minutes, which is nothing because that's pretty much what I'm always doing. I'm always constantly talking to myself. It's just sometimes I upload it to the internet afterwards, you know? Or sometimes I'm live streaming it, So, I don't know. But I don't want to do more than 30 minutes. And I really hope that the beginning of this didn't get cut off, or I hope that it isn't choppy. I hope that it went out to all the other, went out to Twitch and went out to Ustream and Hitbox and Nico Dugga and Periscope and Facebook Live and so on and so forth. So, anyways, it is cold. My hands are cold. My mind is cold. And my blood is cold. Because I'm a stone cold killer. Killers in the streets. Killers in the streets. Killers in the streets. Killers on a bike path. Oh no, that's too soon. It's too soon. I went to that crime scene. And it was definitely happened. It definitely fucking happened. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please keep viewing me. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free. Subscribe for more. Um, I love you all to death. Uh, and don't forget to keep it frigid because it's cold. I just stole like a whole bunch of people's outros and put them together. Okay, bye.